What's up, and welcome to the Dual Sense Podcast. This is episode 129. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I am joined, as always, by your other co-host. His name is Travis.
Mhm.
Travis, we're back. How
Yeah,
are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Hey, I learned some cool stuff about Hitman that I didn't tell
Uh-huh.
you this week. I saved it just for this.
Hmm. What's that?
So I got three things, and I'll save.
Hang on a second. I asked you just a moment ago. I said, "Are you going to play a Hitman again on January 26th?" You said, "What's that?" or some shit. So what
Yeah,
what what the what the
what's
fuck's going
happening on
on
the
here?
26th? What's that? Is that our second year anniversary?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. No, that's the new freelancer mode.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that'll be dope. So I learned three things about Hitman this week, and one of them, I'll give you the
Mm,
part that I found that was the most baffling, which is okay. Hold on, I'll give you the least surprising one first. I just didn't realize this. If you make three quick shots at any point on a map and it's directed near a guard, they will just take off sprinting directly to where they last heard the noise come from.
really? So like you shoot a wall 3 times quickly in succession is what you're saying?
Yeah, so like if
For
I'm
instance?
across, like let's say I'm outside of a building and nobody else can see me, and I need to
Yeah.
get into that room and the guard's there, and I've lost whatever. I don't have any other tools. I can't figure out another way. I could pull out my any gun, shoot three times near them, and they will just run towards me. So the AI will know where I'm at, and it will run to my location. So you do that, and then you can just run. You can just walk off, let them run by you, and you walk by them and walk straight into wherever you want to go.
Oh, I see.
Or you
That's
could,
interesting.
or you can use them. You can use it the other way, which is to have them freak out and either leave a target or bring a target to you. So that's
Right.
pretty cool.
Right. Right into a
Uh,
trap. Never knew that. That's cool.
the other thing I learned, which I thought was really cool, was there are these buildings that are what they call fake buildings. For whatever reason, they didn't get scoped all the way out or developed all the way out. So you'll basically
Mhm.
have your four walls, and then you'll have a window.
Mm.
So if there's somebody on the roof, it's a fake building. So if there's somebody on the roof and you shoot through the window, it literally will hit the person on the roof because it's not a real building or anything inside of it. So like you can do all kinds of crazy shit like with these quote unquote fake buildings. And the fake buildings are the ones you can't enter. And there's ways online to find them where they are in each level and how they could be useful. But they're super useful. Like in the freelance mode, they'll be very useful. If you're doing a contract, a custom contract is very
Yeah.
useful. And those are both speedrunner tricks that I learned. And the
Yeah.
last one is, and I feel so stupid for not realizing this. And when I found out about it, it's so obvious. But there are dummy AI in Hitman. So not every NPC is actually an NPC.
Okay.
So only certain
I thought that it was.
well, if you know when you use your talent thing and you see the little white dots over them,
Oh.
those are the
Oh, yeah.
NPCs. Yeah, like if they see you with a gun, they will lose their shit.
Mm.
But if they don't, you can literally shoot and all they'll do is go, "Ah," and put their hands up. Like,
Okay.
they don't trigger you. It'll if you notice, you won't lose silent assassin. So a lot what a lot of
Interesting.
them will do is they'll make a distraction, have the white person turn their head, the little white dot guy will turn his head, and then they'll pull out a gun in the middle of the racetrack on Miami. There's 100,000 people. They'll just pull out the weapon and they'll shoot. And all these people staring at them, all they do is, like, put their hands up and, like, do the same motion and make the same noise. And
That's
then the
hilarious.
little white dots will kinda, like, freak out trying to figure out where the noise was. So you can, like, take out a target. They don't see it because you distracted the little people, and you can just go on about your day, and you won't lose your silent assassin you won't be compromised in your outfit. It's I don't know. It's
That's
just
outrageous.
amazing. It's amazing the things that these speedrunners have figured out, and,
Yeah.
like, no wonder, like, no one like, who figures this out? Like, no wonder I can't, like, replicate some of these runs.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they've just sat around and figured out how to break the simulation, literally.
Literally, yeah. So I thought that shit was pretty cool.
That is funny. That is awesome. Well, I'm doing good. I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bit of a headache. Took some medicine, some drugs, and I'm caffeinating. I have my coffee, of course, so I'll see if that helps. And wife told me that we're everyone's coming back from Christmas break, and she told me that her kids at school a big bunch of boys have come back with big gold necklaces around their neck. One
Mm-hmm.
kid has one kid has a fake diamond pendant at the end of his that's a
Ooh,
shark that's like showing his grill, like
baby shark.
like it's a shark that's doing like the baby, you know,
Oh,
showing your teeth thing or
I
whatever.
pictured a shark from Nemo.
No, like a shark. So my question is this a new fad that
Hmm.
is passing me by in my old age? Have you heard about anything about this? What is this about? Do you know?
Well, first of all, Trinidad James told us about this years ago.
He did.
All gold on my watch.
He did. Shout out to Trinidad James. Shout out to the pears and shit.
I work with a bunch of Cubans, so they all wear gold. So I'm used to it.
Right.
But it's interesting that
Okay.
it's infiltrated our youth. So before long, we're going to be communist.
Yeah, find out for me. I know you work with a very diverse group of
Mhm.
people. Find out what's going on with the gold chains and the children and the youth movement
I do
here.
know there is a website where you can get gold jewelry pretty cheap. I don't think it's like legit
Mm.
gold. It's probably gold plated. But
Yeah.
one of them told me about
Yeah.
it the other day because he had a gold Jesus piece. It was like all of Jesus's head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
something.
and I said, "Wow, look at that!" And he told me where he got it. So maybe this is a thing now.
It must be. Well, anyway, Travis, we are a PlayStation podcast where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all of the news, rumors, new game releases, and much more in the world of PlayStation. We do it all in under 90 minutes, of course, and we post it every Monday on podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube, where we also share gameplay videos and clips as well, if that pleases you. And we're also on social media. Our go-to is Twitter, where we go by at the DualSense Pod. We also have Instagram and Facebook, as well as a blog, which is called the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. And I regret to inform our listeners that I have deleted our TikTok. I'm done with TikTok, and I have a very good reason. At least I believe. I don't keep up with the news very much anymore, and certainly not politics anymore.
China.
Yeah, and I did hear though through the grapevine that the United States Senate voted unanimously to ban TikTok from government devices, meaning federal government devices. And if I'm going to tell you guys right now, if they unanimously voted to do that, then they know something. So I deleted it from my phone and deleted our account because
They
if
don't
it's, if
agree on
they
anything, so
they
that's
don't
kind
agree
of
on anything. So
interesting.
if they yes, if they unanimously voted to do that, then something's up.
Mhm.
So just a PSA, and we're no longer on TikTok. So yeah, without further ado, Travis, let's jump into a couple of weeks of news here. We've been gone for a while on a little breaky,
Mhm.
and so we're back, and we've been talking for 8 minutes about nothing. So now it's time to get into the news, and we're going to need probably most of the remaining time here. So here we go, starting with number one. During Sony's Consumer Electronics Show presentation this week, the Japanese giant's gaming division showed up in a notable way. PlayStation president and CEO Jim Ryan, crying Jim Ryan, took the stage to make a handful of announcements, including a new accessibility controller kit for PlayStation 5 called Project Leonardo, at least for the moment. He also announced that Gran Turismo 7 would be a launch game for PSVR 2 with a free upgrade for current owners of the game. That Beat Saber was also coming to PSVR 2 at some point. That more than 30 games were on track to launch alongside the PSVR 2, which is up from the previously announced 20 games. And that PlayStation 5 has crossed 30 million units sold, with December of 2022 being its best month ever. PlayStation Productions' Assad Kizilbash also took the stage with director Neil Blomkamp to share the first teaser footage of the upcoming Gran Turismo film, your beloved Gran Turismo, which recently wrapped filming. Kizilbash also revealed that PlayStation Productions has 10 film or television projects in development. In somewhat gaming adjacent news, Sony also revealed their first electric vehicle, Travis, the Sony Afeela, which will have a heavy focus on onboard entertainment, of course, including the ability to watch movies and play PlayStation 5 games. All right. So, does any of this Consumer Electronics Show news jump out at you? Surely it does.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. This will surprise you. The accessibility controller I'm very interested in.
Oh,
I've often thought about if I lost an arm, how would I play games? Or if I lost some
right.
digits, how would I play games? Because I have split my thumb in half.
You have. You
So I was like,
certainly have.
"Oh, holy shit! What if I would have lost my function there?" So
You're good to go
I'm
now.
glad that this is a thing now. So that makes me happy. I
Yeah,
can,
cut that thumb off.
yeah, yeah, I can woodwork with reckless abandon.
Uh-huh.
Of course, the Gran Turismo thing is interesting. I'm glad it's a free upgrade. It should be.
Yeah, we've called that for a long time, by the way.
Yeah, we have, and when they when they made it official, I kind of was like, oh well, maybe that's part of the delay for Gran Turismo was they were trying to get
Hmm.
everything mapped and everything visually to the level they wanted. So when you look around in the VR, the car looks nice. And then I remembered I can look around the car with the joystick, so that's not what happened there.
Hmm.
But no, that's cool. Beat Saber, I had assumed it would come, so that's not surprising
Mhm.
in and of itself. So all that stuff is, those first three were two of them weren't surprising, and one of them is something that paranoid me is always worried about. So I'm glad that exists. Kizzlebash is a great name for a gaming studio.
He's a British lad, by the way, so that makes total. It's like
Oh.
that's like a fucking Austin Powers name.
It is. I watched the trailer. I texted you. We don't need a love story.
Oh yeah.
It looks interesting, and like I told you the other day, it's hard for speed to translate on film, and it's
Mm.
hard even if you go watch NASCAR or F1. It doesn't look fast, even though it is.
Mhm.
Like the perfect example to me is the movie Drive.
Right.
Ryan Gosling at the very beginning, they're pulling a heist, and you know that he's speeding away,
Yeah.
and you hear all the engine sounds, but visually he's barely creeping up on a car, and like that's completely plausible. That could be like that. Like I don't doubt for a fact that they 100% recorded it how it happened, but
Mm.
visually you almost have to make it faster than it really is for it to make sense. Like
Yeah.
Fast and Furious does a better job of that than a lot of these Hollywood movies, right? And
Yeah.
they have to be speeding up the film, like or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So well, I understand what they're doing. I hope they can capture the speed because that's what makes it interesting. If they weren't going fast, it would be pointless to watch it. It'd be like curling. So hope they figure that out. But other than that, the electric vehicle was. If you would have told me PlayStation had bought an island, I would have been less surprised.
Yeah.
What is this? The name is stupid. Why do we need this?
It's a terrible name.
It will look really dumb.
The prototype that I mean that was a prototype, obviously,
Hmm.
but it looked not high end, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what the play is.
Right.
Why do they need this? I don't think they need this.
They're going after Tesla, in my opinion, because
But
this is the
why?
big, this is the big thing with. I mean, I guess I get it in a way because like it goes back to the argument that I make about the Nintendo Switch all the time. Like no one's like Sony's not competing with. They're just letting Nintendo make the Switch and sell 100 million,
Right.
Switches. Like or is anybody going to compete with Tesla in a meaningful way and just let them sell 100 million Teslas or whatever? So
I
anyway, but
guess.
continue.
No, I mean that's a good point. I could not figure it out. And they're like, you can watch movies and play games, and it's like, I mean, I guess it's just gonna auto
Yeah,
drive me places, but
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I've told you this, but like the Mercedes auto drive feature. So the Tesla auto drive is coded to where it'll preserve the pedestrian's life, but the Mercedes one is coded to where it will preserve the driver's life. So
Interesting.
meaning don't walk in front of an electric Mercedes vehicle because it will run you over before it endangers the owner.
Hey, that's their
So
fault. It's their
you could
choice.
just imagine that we're in the next, Call of Duty battle for
Yeah.
rights, and they're like, "Well, your cars run over people." So
If I'm 2 away from a nuke, I don't give a fuck.
yeah, they don't care about yeah, oh, dude, imagine putting kill streaks on your Sony car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. But no, that I just there has to be a play, and there has to be some sort of technology that they wanna implement that they've developed, or maybe they wanna use the car to develop some sort of technology. I don't know. There's a play there that I'm not seeing, I think.
Yeah. I thought this was actually pretty interesting and an interesting presentation from them. I watched the entire thing and listened to them talk about their camera. They talked about everything Sony cameras and audio, all this stuff, and it was pretty interesting what they're trying to do. They're as a whole, Sony is an interesting company, but specifically talking about the PlayStation stuff, I didn't expect a whole lot, but I guess I expected a little bit more. I don't know. That's just a personal problem,
They
really. That's
announced a
not.
car.
I know, but that was a Sony proper thing. That wasn't like a PlayStation car. So
No.
PlayStation's just going to be in it. But in terms of like the VR stuff, like it is cool. Like Gran Turismo 7 being on PSVR2 at launch is a big announcement. So
Mhm.
I think that's just one of those things. Like it wasn't necessarily for me. So that's cool. We've been talking about that for a long time on the show about how we figured that was coming, and it makes a lot of sense. My only question on that is that, and you may know better, but my understanding is that on GT Sport, the PSVR functionality was pretty limited. Like you couldn't just like put the headset on, then you're playing all of GT Sport, like all the functionality and everything. So I think that they've got to make it a
Mhm.
1-to-1. Like, okay, it's Gran Turismo 7, everything, but in VR with the headset. I think they've got to do that to make that like a system seller, because I think that could be a system seller.
Yeah. It has to be like I can operate the menu, I can do whatever
Yes,
straight
I
through
agree.
this. The whole UI has to be functional.
I agree. And if that's the case, does that make you more intrigued about PSVR 2?
It's another thing I have to worry about before the race.
Yeah, but if it's the whole thing, like I'm saying, does that, if you can play GT7 through, all the way through with the headset,
Oh,
does
yeah.
that make you more interested?
Yeah, that would be nice. I'm still worried it'll make me vomit, but it would be nice.
Sure, that's fair. But also, the PS5 doing very well. Jim Ryan, I didn't make a note of this, but Jim Ryan also said that the PS5 shortage is over and that it's going to be much easier to find starting now. And I think we're already seeing that. But I think what the point that he was trying to make without just flat out saying it is that very soon we're going to be buying PS5s on store shelves. My guess is by like the summer. I think probably by E3 or
Mhm.
Summer Game Fest, whatever the fuck it is. I think you'll be able to walk into a store and get a PS5 at will, which will be cool. Let's see what else here. The car sounds cool. Pre-orders in 2025 for the car, and it launches in North America in 2026.
Mhm.
Never say never. We'll see. I don't know.
Do you think Microsoft is like, "Fuck, we gotta make a car"?
No, no shot. They're too worried about not unless they can give it away for free and charge you like $1,000 a month for it or something, and
Imagine
some
getting
type
a
of
car on
subscription.
Game Pass.
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly, exactly. And yeah, I'm gonna see the Gran Turismo film. I think it'll be
Yeah.
good, actually.
No, I'll watch it, but mostly because I like Dave Harbour.
Yeah, he's good. And Orlando Bloom said that we're going to be able to feel the sound vibrate on our bodies in the theaters. And
Uh,
one of the guys in the Gaming Nexus Slack channel shared the teaser footage or whatever, and I said, "Yeah, I'll see the film. I want to see if Orlando Bloom can make my body vibrate." And everybody had a really weird reaction to that. So there's that. There's that. But anyway, cool little showing from them, and we'll see how this all pans out. Number two, reliable insider Tom Henderson reported over the holidays that despite PlayStation's recent belly aching over Xbox Game Pass, especially in regards to the Activision deal, they really aren't all that worried about it. Sources within PlayStation told Henderson that CEO and President Jim Ryan held a Q&A with staff in December sometime in which he talked about market competition. In response to a question from staff regarding Game Pass, Ryan said, quote, and he's paraphrasing, I'm assuming from his source, when we consider Game Pass, it seems to be getting lower numbers. When we consider Game Pass, we've sold more PS5s in 2 years than they have gathered subscribers, and they've been doing that for 6 or 7 years. We're just shy of 50 million subscribers, and they're in the low 20s, meaning PlayStation Plus versus Game Pass. But there's more work to do to grow that number, end quote. So what do you think about that? They're, saying one thing to all the regulators, saying how it's a big fucking problem in terms of Game Pass and putting Call of Duty games and whatnot on there, but really he's telling his homies that he doesn't give a fuck, that they're doing a lot better.
yeah, it's interesting that one of the parties is finally saying something that most of us have speculated is the truth for a while.
Mm.
But at the end, he says there's more work to do. So what does he mean by that? Does he mean make sure that you let us still have Call of Duty? Because I think while they're
Maybe.
not they're not worried about Game Pass, if they had exclusively Call of Duty on Game Pass, I think that definitely raises a flag. So
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree.
regardless of how many subscribers they have, and it makes sense that if those numbers are true, the low 20s compared to the 50 million mark, then that explains why you would want to make Call of Duty exclusive on the Game Pass. So it
Yeah.
all lines up. But as far as the numbers go, those wouldn't surprise me if they're true. I
Hmm.
don't. I we've talked about this before, but I don't know anybody who has Game Pass. Like I
Sure.
legitimately don't know of anybody. I know of people who have PS5s
Yeah.
and PS4s. I know people who play PS3. I don't know. people that I know play PC or they play PlayStation. Yeah, I can't, I honestly can't say I know anybody that has a Game Pass, so
Sure.
that doesn't surprise me. But the 50 million subscriber mark, it goes back to, remember they made the change where like you had to have your system online to get updates. So
Hmm.
they created they created a way to, in a nutshell, almost, you almost have to be a subscriber for PlayStation to get everything out of it.
Yeah, you gotta at least be at the essential tier or
Yeah,
whatever.
so they've created a way
Yeah, no doubt.
to get those numbers. And Xbox, the way they chose to try to get numbers was through the Game Pass model, and it seems like, at least right now, the better way to do it is the subscription model that PlayStation has developed, and you just look at the numbers and it tells you that. So,
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you want to play an online multiplayer game on PlayStation that's not a free to play game, you have to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus. So that's definitely a fair caveat to that number. So I think this is two things. I think this is Jim rallying the troops. He's not going to go in there and tell the people at PlayStation that he's worried about Xbox, right? I mean, that's not what a leader does. Like it's like a coach coming into the huddle at a timeout saying, "Guys, they're a lot fucking better than that. They're going to kick our ass." Like that's just, they're not. That's not going to happen. And then secondarily, I think there's some truth to it in that I think that he deep down he's not. They're not worried. He's not worried about Game Pass, and I think it is because they believe in their model of how they do things. Kind of to your point, like they know that they have all these people that are subscribed, that they know they have X amount of people that own PlayStations. They can see analytics, they can see data. They believe in their products. They know they have good games, etc. So I think it's partly too that both of those things, and you know, it's just interesting to hear that, and then you contrast that with the fact that they're out here just making a huge stink. And I mean, at this point, it appears that they're sort of winning this whole
right.
fight over Call of Duty and Activision over the big stink that they're causing, and then here they are saying this stuff too. So it'll be interesting that the next round of stuff that comes out, that comments that are made by both sides, if they take this article and quote it somehow in one of these things, like, oh, Jim Ryan tells staff that
Mhm.
they're not worried about Game Pass, but here they are telling you they are. So that'll be
Objection,
funny to see.
hearsay.
Right, that'll be funny to see. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Number three, the PlayStation blog announced the results of their Game of the Year awards, voted on entirely by fans over the holiday. And I'll just rattle off all the winners here and we can discuss anything. Best new character went to Thor from God of War Ragnarok. Best story went to God of War Ragnarok, as well as graphical showcase, best art direction, best audio design, soundtrack of the year, best accessibility features, best use of the DualSense. And then best multiplayer game went to Modern Warfare 2. Best ongoing game went to Warzone 2. Best sports game, Travis, went to Gran Turismo 7. Best indie game went to Stray. Best re release went to Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. The PS4 and PS5 games of the year were both God of War Ragnarok, and the most anticipated game for 2023 was Hogwarts Legacy.
Mhm.
Does anything pique your interest there about the God of War Ragnarok awards?
Yeah, I was gonna say they won everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so most anticipated game, Hogwarts Legacy, I would have to say that, I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
Like, even for somebody who's not gonna play the game, it actually looks kinda cool, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I think it's annoying that there's still a PS4 game of the year, just putting that out there.
Hmm.
I don't like
Yeah.
that, I don't like that best re-release is a category. I don't wanna encourage re-releases and remasters and director's cuts. I want new things, so,
Yeah. That's fair.
I mean, not that they're gonna go into a room and be like, "We really have to fucking remake this game because I want this award." Like, I know that's not what's happening, but
Mm.
that it's getting recognition into the ether is just, it's so accepted now that it's a little annoying to me. But other than that,
Yeah.
the multiplayer game, it's not that I'm surprised it's Modern Warfare, I just thought it would be something else, like, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm.
if you gave Modern Warfare 50%, I would have given the rest of the field 50%, so, and
Sure.
usually I wouldn't feel that way. I just thought something else could have snuck in there, and I don't really know, I don't have an example right now off the top of my head. I'm completely
Hmm.
blanking, but it just, it is the best modern, it is, to me, the best Call of Duty in a while, Gran Turismo, the sports game, is interesting because in a way, I feel like we're finally acknowledging the fact that EA has dropped the ball on most of these games, and that 2K, while this year's iteration is better according to almost everybody, that it's not at the level that we expected for those games. So I think that makes me feel a little bit better that hey, we're at least recognizing something else for once. So yeah, that's a long way to say nothing was too surprising, and I'm
Sure.
disappointed in two categories.
Yeah, I do agree with you on the re-release thing. I don't think we should be awarding that necessarily. I we talk about on the show how we're in that age of re-releases and remasters and all that, and I say that, and The Last of Us Part One was probably my favorite game of the year this year, but I don't think they should be getting awards. Just kind of like if even though it was my personal game of the year, I don't think that The Last of Us Part One should be eligible for like the game awards or whatever the one any of these award shows or award outlets. I don't think it should be eligible for that, for instance. So I don't like that one either. Yeah, I mean I get the PS4 still having a game of the year for now, but like 2023 has to be the year that like we cut that off. Like it's time to move on from the PS4 in 2023. I know games are still going to come out for it, but like we've talked about, like PlayStation Studios, they've got to move on. It seems like they are, which is a good thing. I actually have an issue with a couple of the awards that Ragnarok won. I think it's a little bit of recency bias, and of course it is from fan. I mean, it's fans, but I think the graphical showcase, I think Horizon Forbidden West has a bone to pick with that. I think you could argue that that's a better looking game than Ragnarok in a lot of ways. So I actually would have picked Forbidden West for that one. I also would have picked Forbidden West for best new character. I think instead of Thor, I think
Yeah,
Katalo. Katalo is a like, kind of like a sidekick for Aloy in that game.
but
He's a really cool
yeah,
character.
my thing is they didn't create Thor. Like, that just irritates me. It's like, yeah, he's a fucking we didn't he's an annoying. He's not
That
we
is
didn't make
true.
him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They just that's their interpretation of him is which is
Yeah.
yeah. So I do get that. But there's a character named Kotalo in Forbidden West I thought was a really cool character. So I don't know, a couple of I guess exceptions. Or
Well, I had a couple of really cool, youth academy players on FIFA that coulda won that award. I had one of them win he was the player of the
yeah,
year, so, like, I don't understand why he wasn't on there.
that's funny. But anyway, so nice way to cap off the year there. Number 4, Fortnite developer Epic Games agreed to pay a record fine of $520 million to the United States Federal Trade Commission as part of a settlement over lawsuits that allege the company violated children's privacy and also tricked them into making unwanted purchases. 275 million of the penalty will be paid for violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, while the other 245 million is set aside to refund customers who were allegedly tricked into making errant purchases. The FTC said that Epic violated COPA by collecting the personal information of Fortnite players under the age of 13 without parent or guardian consent. The FTC also accused Epic of using quote unquote dark patterns and billing practices to trick players of all ages into making undesired purchases, while letting children accrue unauthorized charges without any parental approval. Okay. What do you think about this gigantic fine and any of its intricacies here?
I mean, yeah, that's a fuckload of money. I would be willing to bet that the money they're paying the 245 back, they made way more than that. They
Oh, yeah.
I would say they you know how it is. They're
Yeah.
probably saying, "Hey, look, I know you made 2 billion. Pay 25% of it, it'll be like a tax."
Yeah.
As far as these dark patterns and dude, this is like every form of marketing and
Yeah.
any kind of industry. And to act like all these kids didn't know what they were doing is also really,
Mm,
really it's
yeah.
being blind to the problem. Some of these kids knew what
Yeah.
they were doing. They bought it, and then they were like, "Oh, I didn't mean to," when their parents got mad at them. So then
Yeah.
that happens 25,000 times, and you get a bunch of complaints to the FCC or whatever they're called now, the FTC. So yeah, it's hard for me to believe that, and I don't know. Especially it's like you tell me the government or big pharma doesn't do dark practices to get senior citizens who had mesothelioma because they worked at Abrams Air Force Base. Like I don't know, man. It's just like, come on, guys. But the fine doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't move the needle because every time I've seen a situation like this, you find out that they made triple, quadruple what they're being charged. So, they really want to make a statement, then shut down the game or
Right.
shut down the studio. Like that will make a statement. A fine,
Shutting down the studio.
yeah, and a fine for these big ass companies doesn't do anything.
No, it does nothing. They don't. It's a blip on the radar. So I agree with that. But the thing that really stood out to me is that while you're right, some kids did this and yeah, they made a mistake. Like truly, and there's other kids who did stuff and then lied to their parents about it. The problem is like parents have to parent their children. Like,
Right.
why are you giving your 13 and under year old child your credit card? Why
Yeah.
are you putting your credit card on file on their Xbox or PlayStation, whatever? Like, why are you doing that? That's your fault. I'm sorry. You should not be doing that. If you want them to have V-Bucks or whatever type of shit to buy in game, like you just give them a $10 PlayStation Store card and like, all right, here it is. You know, like that's your fault. So I take issue with both the parent on some of these occasions, no doubt. My problem, I guess, as a whole, in other words, at some point you have to be responsible for yourself and your own actions. Is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
I got some numbers for you.
Oh, okay.
Just to guess at what Epic Games is valued at.
What they're valued at?
Yeah.
Uh,
Remember they got bought for what was it, like 800 million or something like that?
I think Epic Games now is probably valued at like $9 billion.
32.
Oh my god.
So in 2018, they reported they made $3 billion in profit, straight profit. So again, this fine doesn't do anything.
Oh,
And as you
right.
know, ironically, I happen to work for
Mm.
a private company that is valued at, I think our last valuation was 31 billion.
Oh, good.
I know how much cash on hand we have within the company, which
Mm.
I probably shouldn't say on air, so I won't. But I could tell
Mhm.
you that a fine of $250 million, while it is a lot, would not matter. I
Right.
know
It's like,
I
okay.
know how much money we have on hand, that is nothing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's a payday for the federal government, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's a windfall for the federal government, that's all.
yeah, they're gonna get
And
it. Yeah,
they can go take it and study goat mating practices in Pakistan some more and some other stupid shit that we do
that's
in
why we went
America.
over there, right, for the goats? I think that's right.
And for the goats, watch the goats have sex. Anyway, number 5. Death Stranding creator Hideo Kojima has expounded upon his film adaptation of the IP in a new interview with IGN, saying that the movie would be a more art house, indie style film. He said, quote, I received a lot of offers, but my intention from the start was never to make a blockbuster film. Alex Lebovici from Hammerstone Studios shared my vision with regards to that. There were a lot of pitches to make a large scale movie with famous actors and flashy explosions, but what good would explosions be in Death Stranding?
Yeah, so yeah, he talked to Michael Bay, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Making money isn't something I'm focused on at all either. I'm aiming for a more art house approach, and the only person who offered to make a film like that was Alex Lebovici, which makes me think he's a rather unusual type, end quote. That's two peas in a pod. It sounds
Yeah,
like Death Stranding might not be the only film or television project the Japanese auteur is working on, as he also told IGN, quote, I was on video calls with lots of people in Hollywood every week beginning last year, and not just for Death Stranding, end quote. Kojima also told IGN about his new project with Xbox, saying that the company is the only one who trusted him enough to support it. He said, quote,
I bet.
the project required infrastructure that was never needed before, so I discussed it with lots of different big companies and gave presentations, but they really seemed to think that I was mad. It was ultimately Microsoft who showed that they understood, and now we're working together on the project, including the technology front. End
Mm,
quote. Okay, a lot to unpack here. What do
mhm,
you think?
yeah. I'll start with the bottom and Xbox there. I'm sure, you know, because Kojima is a known Sony like asset, right? So if you're the rival, it makes sense to gamble on something that might be a little bit crazy.
Mm,
And just knowing what we've seen Kojima make, you could make the argument that it'll be a little bit weird. So the technology front, I think, is interesting. What is the technology he's trying to develop? Obviously, it doesn't exist in the
hmm
form that he needs. So Microsoft, as we've talked about before, they have a huge bankroll. So
mm,
That makes sense. Interested to see what it is because the future holds the answer. But if once we know what this is, if it's super fucking weird and esoteric, I mean, we're gonna be like, yeah, that of course. Like, no wonder everybody said no,
Yeah.
which isn't out of the realm for him. I only have one hope for these other video phone calls is that he wants to make a Metal Gear movie solely so I can watch, Snake go in and out of these boxes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I just wanna watch him on, like, a super serious movie, but he randomly pops into a cardboard box and nobody can see him. Like, that's hilarious. I would love every minute of that, but
Yeah.
to the first part about the Death Stranding movie, I never expected it to be anything other than Arthouse from Kojima. Never
100%.
crossed my mind. The guy he linked up with fits that bill, like he
Mhm.
talked about. If you look up the stuff that this guy's made before, it falls right in line.
Yeah, he did the Barbarian movie, which people seem to
Yeah.
like, some type of
Yeah,
scary movie.
not only has he made a thing that makes sense, but they've liked it too. So he's made a quality product that's within the same vein and
Mhm.
the same style. So it makes sense. I would be disappointed if he did make a super Hollywood movie out of Death Stranding. I mean, on one hand, he'd be kind of selling out. So,
Yeah.
the fact that he mentioned, you hear people say money isn't something I'm worried about a lot. And usually it's just something that I think is complete bullshit. But
Yeah.
when he says it about something like this, it kinda makes sense, like, I kinda can buy it coming from him, the way he produces and makes things, it seems like he makes them from an artistic perspective. He seems like the type of guy that would be more worried about making something true to what's in his head than making a payday.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt about that. I don't know how much better I could. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you said everything perfectly, but I'll just kind of echo your thoughts in that there's no other way that Kojima makes a movie other than an art house, artsy fartsy movie, whatever you want to call it. Like that is Kojima. He makes batshit weird over the top stuff that's like just locked in his head that he has to like. It's almost like he has to put it on paper
Yeah.
and watch it move. You know, like he just
Mhm.
thinks all this crazy shit and he just turns it into these ideas, which admittedly are typically awesome. Like Death Stranding's batshit, but it's really cool. The
Yeah.
second one looks even more batshit crazy, but it looks cool. So will I see the movie? Absolutely. I think it'll be good. And I like you said, I don't see any other way for him to make a movie. And the other thing that I wanted to say was that about his that last comment there about how he said that Microsoft was, everyone thought he was crazy except for Microsoft. I definitely see that as sort of like a veiled shot at PlayStation because he obviously has his most current working relationship is with PlayStation and Sony on Death Stranding, who owns the Death Stranding IP, by the way, meaning Sony, PlayStation.
Mhm.
So that definitely seems like a sort of shot at PlayStation. That makes me wonder how and back to your other point about how, there's because Kojima is a Japanese man and PlayStation is a Japanese company on the whole, that there's that connection there, there's that relationship and it makes you wonder how fucking crazy this idea is that PlayStation passed on it because
Yeah.
PlayStation was quick to scoop him up after he got fired from Konami, several years ago. I
Mhm.
mean, like 2 months later, they walked him out at the Game Awards and were like, "Oh, he's making an exclusive PlayStation game." So, like, they wanted him, right?
Mhm.
And it almost to the point where you think that they would just tell him yes, to whatever he wanted to do. The fact that they didn't, because he pitched it to him, the fact that they didn't, and he went to Microsoft makes you wonder, what is this really? Like, is it going to be something worthwhile? And you can't doubt him. You can't bet against him, but it's
Mhm.
just weird that it has to be super weird, is what I'm trying to say
Yeah, and it's
for
also,
Sony to pass.
it's nice that Sony passing is interesting. Like, they weren't, because a
Yeah,
lot of these companies, especially nowadays, they'll be like, "He's our breadwinner, just sure."
yeah,
And they were like,
I
"Nah."
yeah, exactly. And then in terms of the technology, like, will it be something unique? I'm sure it will be, or at least very different from what we're used to in games. But I wish he would just come out and say, "Hey, I'm making a fucking MMO type game where somebody can use their phone to affect your game, and then somebody can use their TV on the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be something like
Right.
that. Like, it's not going to be something that we can't. possibly imagine in our minds right now is what I'm
Yeah, we're
trying to
not gonna
say.
be able
Like,
to smell things on the game.
no, like you have to. It's going to be something within the technology that we know about now. I mean, he's acting like he knows about a technology that nobody else knows about, and I don't believe that's true. Although he does predict the future in his game, so what do I know? Number 6, January's lineup of PlayStation Plus Essential Tier games leaked from the usual source and, of course, was later confirmed. Coming to the service, or already arrived, I should say, is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for both PS4 and PS5, Fallout 76 for PS4, and side scrolling Metroidvania Axiom Verge 2 for both PS4 and PS5 as well. So they're out now. Does any of this do anything for you?
Yeah, I know you said Fallout 76 is nice when you co-op it, so
It is.
it seems like there's a nice co-op option there. And I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of people like Fallen Order that they enjoy the gameplay. So
Yeah.
seems like you got two strong options there, especially if you have some friends online. I know nothing about Axiom Verge 2. I'm sure it's a 7.
Yeah. So Fallen Order, it's not for me. I've played it. I think it's not very good. It's like it's like a Metroidvania, Dark Souls ish style Star Wars game. It's not for me. It's not for me. Fallout 76, I enjoy that quite a bit. I wish it would get a PS5 upgrade. I don't think you can play it at 60 frames per second, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. Axiom Verge, the first one was pretty well regarded. I think it's a solo developer who makes those games, just one guy.
Oh,
I
that's
think. I think
cool.
his name's yeah, I think his name's like Tom Happ or something. Sounds like a fake name, but
Tom Howard.
so anyway, but yeah, it's a decent month, and should this week we should get announcement on the extra and premium tiers, I believe. So we'll see. I have a theory, by the way. I want to put this out there before we move on. I think so. There is an indie game that's coming up. It's called Chia or Tachia. It's an open world game, kind of like it's based in New Caledonia and all this stuff. Anyway,
What the
I think
fuck's New
that's
Caledonia?
it's a place over around New Zealand, I believe,
Mm,
and it's I believe I have a theory that it's going to be a February or not a February, but like a what am I trying to say? I'm having a stroke. A
mhm,
PlayStation Plus extra game, or maybe a February PlayStation Plus game. I
mhm.
have that theory, so we'll see.
I saw a Richard Simmons chia pet at the Menards.
Holy shit!
I
Wow,
I considered mean, come on, it's kinda funny.
it is hilarious. He's perfect for a chia pet, really.
Yes.
Number 7, we also have a lot of news nuggets here, Travis. A ton. We get down into on the bullet points here. We get down into the four digit bullet points here.
Oh,
So we got a lot
that's
to.
new. We've never done that.
Yeah, this is going to be wild. So here we go. First nugget: PlayStation shared a new hands-on preview of the upcoming DualSense Edge controller on the PlayStation blog over the holiday. We learned from other hands-on previews that it will have significantly less battery life than the OG DualSense. The Edge will release on January 26th, and pre-orders are available now. So I am not too keen to buy a $250 controller or whatever it is for a battery that doesn't last nearly as long as the DualSense now. So
Yeah, I'm out.
also, reindeer herding adventure game
Yes.
Scabma Snowfall will launch for PS4 and PS5 sometime in early 2023, early this year.
The reindeer herding sounds like a blast.
It's unique to say the least.
Mm.
Also, free to play game Genshin Impact, which I'm going to talk about later, is getting a new update on January the 18th, which will bring 2 new playable characters, new events, new rewards, and more. Website Video Games Chronicle reported that Microsoft filed its response to the FTC's lawsuit over their Activision acquisition. The Xbox owner said, quote, "The acquisition of a single game by the third-place console manufacturer cannot upend a highly competitive industry. That is particularly so when the manufacturer has made it clear it will not withhold the game," end quote. Elsewhere, a group of gamers have banded together to file their own lawsuit against Microsoft over the deal.
Oh god.
I also wanted to add real quick that I don't know if we've already talked about this on the show, but Microsoft also made the bold choice of calling the Federal Trade Commission unconstitutional.
Oh,
So
that'll
that's
go well.
also I'll go ahead and say this because I know it's here later in the show. They've already backtracked on that, by the way, and they put out they did an interview with Axios and said that yeah, we were wrong for saying that and they put out the statement basically saying, yeah, you guys aren't unconstitutional, we were assholes, we're sorry. It's
Yeah, I
basically what
mean,
they said.
it just sounds like it's a lawyer in court yelling about nothing, but didn't realize what he said. But they've
Uh-huh.
managed they've pissed off all the tryhards, and they're lawsuiting against Microsoft. Imagine that we got, like, We did a GoFundMe to sue Microsoft. Which is what I hope they did.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a mess. Next nugget. The Last of Us developer Naughty Dog revealed in a New Year's blog that details on their upcoming multiplayer game will be revealed later this year, and also teased quote unquote other surprises,
Mm.
likely to coincide with the series' 10th year anniversary, or 10-year anniversary, I should say, in June. They also shared the second piece of concept art for the multiplayer title, and that the series as a whole has surpassed 37 million copies sold as of December, ahead of its launch on PC. Part one's launch on PC on March the 3rd, so it'll cross that 40 million mark for sure. Naughty Dog co president Neil Druckmann also teased the rumored Last of Us Part 3, saying he felt there was quote unquote more story to tell. Interesting.
Mhm.
And just quickly, I want to say that I am starting to wonder if this, meaning the multiplayer Last of Us game, might be a big holiday release. Because if you think about it, we're not. I was telling Ryan when he and I did a show a couple weeks back that there's not going to be a big premium Call of Duty release this year. There's no Battlefield release this year, this holiday. So there's a window there for maybe like a big hitting AAA, free to play multiplayer game from PlayStation. It'd be interesting. Also, speaking of The Last of Us, it was revealed that The Last of Us television show cost $100 million to produce the first season. We also learned that the show will explore life before the infection took hold of the world, as we see in the video games, and its second season will cover the events of the second game, which will be controversial to say the least.
Is that a lot for a TV show?
It is. So for comparison, House of the Dragon, that Game of Thrones spinoff, they spent just under $20 million an episode for that
Mhm.
first season of that, and so it's about. I mean, The Last of Us is about half of that, and that's a much bigger production with fake dragons and shit. So.
Oh, they didn't use real dragons. So yeah, those are kind of more expensive.
So
So
yeah, it's pretty expensive.
so season 1 follows so season 1 is before game 1, and then season 2 will be game 2, so we don't have a season about game 1.
No, we do. I think they're going to
They're
do
gonna
some.
like the
They're
first
going
2
to do some world.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna do some world building and then do game one, and then
Yeah,
second season will
that's
be
true.
game two. Yeah.
Oh, it'll
Yeah.
be awesome. Like it'll kick ass. It'll win some awards probably.
Oh yeah, the guy that did Chernobyl is the director and all that, or one of the directors. So it'll be good. It's gonna be big, actually. I think. Also, a collectible for the hidden level 5 of the PlayStation Stars program is leaked online, and it is an astrobot called "Bots Don't Breathe" diorama, whatever that means. It's out there. Hitman 3 is being rebranded as Hitman World of Assassination on January 26th, which will combine all three current games into one package. Anyone who owns Hitman 3 will get the first two games for free. The move comes alongside the release of the new roguelike mode called Freelancer, which is coming to the game on the 26th as well, as we were discussing earlier.
Mhm. Which is great because I'm pretty sure since I already have Hitman 3, it's gonna let me re-get those trophies for the first 2
You
games.
know what? That's a good point. That'll probably be a new package of trophies.
So
Yeah.
I will take it. That's easy. The very first training level, not the training level. The there's a level on the beach called Hawks Bay.
Yeah.
And I can get if I speed run it, I can get within like I forgot. I did it the other day, but I was within like 4 or 5 seconds of the world record.
Damn.
It's just I'm just not smooth enough. I'd have to sit down and try to do it for
Yeah.
2 or 3 days.
Right. Next nugget. Pro rally racing legend Ken Block has died at age 55 in a snowmobile accident, because why not? He is well known in gaming circles for his appearances in the Dirt and Forza franchises.
Mhm.
You actually told me about this first, and I said, "Who is a Ken Block?"
Right. He does all the Jim Kahana stuff on YouTube, which he basically takes imagine a
Mhm.
car doing parkour.
Right.
Not parking
Yeah.
core, parkour. Yeah, there's always random people who die, and then it affects you more than you imagine. So for some reason, Kim Block was that for me. It just made me very sad. Like when Kobe died, you're like, oh, everybody knew they'd be sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's always a random person that dies every year, and you're just like, why is this suddenly more impactful than it should be? So that was mine for January.
I see. No, just for January. Sure.
I'm sure I'll have another one. Yeah.
Let's see what the rest of the months do. Also, Japanese publisher Konami has teased more new games are in development, saying in a New Year's address that it has announcements planned for projects, quote, deeply and quietly underway, end quote. There's also been further speculation lately that a Metal Gear Solid remake of some sort is in the works. Likely Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is rumored to be in development at developer Virtuous. And I'm still salty that they're going to start with the third game because I think that's a stupid choice, but what can I do?
Yeah.
Square Enix teased in their New Year's message, all these people are just teasing games, that they have a new Final Fantasy announcement to make this year, which is likely the new which is likely the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster or Final Fantasy 9 remake that were a part of the Nvidia leak, because they did say it's not related to Final Fantasy 7 or 16. So there's that. Also, the Last Guardian developer Gen Design announced that they will reveal their next game at some point this year. Persona publisher Atlas also teased impending reveals of several unannounced games over the course of this year.
I'm tired of all this teasing. Like, let me put it in.
Yeah, like just, I don't know, that must be a Japanese thing. All these Japanese publishers just teasing shit the first of the year. A new batch of PlayStation Stars campaigns are now available. They include the usual check-in campaign of playing any game, as well as one for beating Godric in Elden Ring and playing a battle royale game. Third-person cooperative zombie horde shooter World War Z is finally getting its current gen upgrade on January 24th. It will be free to PS4 owners of the Aftermath version of the game and includes the Horde XL mode, which features 1,000 zombies on screen at one time, as well as other upgrades like 4K and 60 frames per second. I'm going to check that out. That sounds
It
dope.
sounds immensely overwhelming.
That's what everybody said. Everybody said, I don't want to be that stressed.
Okay.
Action RPG Wo Long Fallen Dynasty dropped a new 10-minute gameplay demo if you're interested. Zelda like PS4 and Vita game Reverie is getting a PS5 re-release later this year. It will include a new mini game, a new nightmare difficulty option.
Listen, I have no data for this, but I'd be willing to bet people who love the nightmare game mode love to eat like super fucking spicy stuff. They just love to suffer.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they do the fucking one chip challenge and stuff. Also, PlayStation VR2 launch game The Dark Picture Switchback VR will include a feature in portions of the game where enemies only move when you blink your eyes, Travis. That's
Yes,
horrifying.
that's
That's terrifying.
amazing. I love it.
Oh my god, there's no way. Point and click adventure game Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse, what the fuck, is getting remastered for PS5. It will be out sometime later this year. Acclaimed VR survival game Song in the Smoke is getting a free PSVR 2 upgrade, and it will be available at launch on February 22nd. Looks cool. The previously leaked Silent Hill The Short Message game has been rated for release on PS5 in Taiwan. And that's one we don't know anything about, so it's interesting. It's imminent, though. Kratos actor Chris Judge's acceptance speech at the Game Awards in December now holds the Guinness World Record for longest award show acceptance speech ever. He talked for over 7 minutes. The previous record holder was, I think, from 1944 or 43, and it was a woman. I don't remember her name, but she talked for like 5 minutes. So Chris outdid her. The former head of the Far Cry series, Dan Hay, is leading development on Blizzard's new survival game.
That's interesting to me. I'm just
Oh,
curious to see what he does with Blizzard because it just feels like it will be half baked.
no, of course. Also, martial arts brawler Sifu is getting a new arena mode in March. Completing arenas unlocks new outfits, cheats, and modifiers. Joe Ziegler, the director of first person shooter Valorant, announced that he had departed Riot Games and now works at PlayStation studio Bungie, which is quite interesting. And
Mhm.
Bungie also said this week that they have several unannounced projects in development with Sony. So I wonder what's going on over there.
First party FPS.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, just what is it called now? I forget. Oh my god, this ruins the whole point. Like when I say PlayStation needs a first party FPS, it doesn't have to be Call of Duty level. It could literally be the game we
Mm.
played with the portals.
Yeah. Splitgate.
It
Yeah.
could be Splitgate. That would be fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
I think maybe they're just it doesn't have to be a blockbuster. It just needs to be good.
That's a very good point. I agree. 100%. Also, a Goat Simulator 3 advertisement that included leaked Grand Theft Auto 6 footage was taken down after a copyright strike from GTA publisher Take-Two. Developer Polyphony Digital has said that a PC version of Gran Turismo 7 is, in fact, not in development after your boy Kazunori Yamauchi recently said that they were looking into it. So they're looking into it. They're making a PC version. He just got slapped on the wrist. Speaking of, website games industry reported that the Gran Turismo series has passed 90 million lifetime copies sold. That's
That's
pretty
awesome.
impressive. hmm Also, heavy metal first person shooter Metal Hellsinger has crossed 1 million copies sold.
Fucking 89 more to go, bitch.
89 more to go. That's good. Silent Hill 2 remake developer Bloober Team has said that they are feeling significant pressure to meet expectations for the project. They
What do you
also said that,
mean?
yeah, they also said that they are taking the very safe approach on changing some of the aspects of the game. So, in other words, guys, this game's going to be possibly dog shit. I
That's
mean,
what I
it
heard.
it is Bloober Team. They haven't made anything worth a shit. So, whatever,
We're
whatever.
stressed out and they're being mean, so we don't want to do anything.
Yeah, and we can't live up to the hype of the original game. That's what I read, but we'll see. Also, the British Competition and Markets Authority announced that they will not publish their final report regarding the Microsoft Activision deal until late April. It was originally scheduled for early March. However, the UK regulator did say that they could publish the necessary remedies to allow the deal to go through prior to then. I don't know how that works, but okay. A large number of Madden NFL 23 players have had their save files corrupted after logging into the game during a certain period between December 29th or
Uh-huh.
28th and 29th, excuse me. Publisher Electronic Arts has attributed the corruption to a quote unquote data storage issue and added that around 60% of those
Wow,
affected players will not be able to get their saved data back. That's when you
Jesus.
delete the game or you take the disk out and frisbee it across the room. Also, Chinese company NetEase Games has acquired Halo and Minecraft. This is getting off the rails. Minecraft co-developer Skybox Labs.
Mhm. Skybox Labs is where it's an airplane where you just eat box.
Wow.
We're just
Oh,
down to double letters. We're out of
the fuck.
control.
Oh, we are. Yeah, 10 PS4 games will be leaving the PlayStation Plus extra tier on January 17th. Bound by Flame, Electronic Superjoy, Enigmatis, The Ghost of Maple Creek, Leo's Fortune, Masters of Anima, Seasons After Fall, Shyness, The Lightning Kingdom, Space Hulk Tactics, The Council, The Last Tinker, City of Colors, so fucking nothing of note is leaving. PS5's Share Factory Studio received a new update that added 10 creator packs, FIFA 23 game bits, enhanced editing tools, and more. And this is actually very cool. There's now a couple of first person shooter, like montage creator intro pack things and some
Okay,
other stuff. Very cool. So I
that's nice.
appreciate it. I just wish they could find a way to make the fucking thing not take up 27 gigs on my PS5. But
Yeah, it's still a little clunky, but I've never video edited anything else, so maybe
mhm.
it's all like that.
Yeah, true. Also, the Paramount Plus app is now available for PlayStation 5 in these United States. Criterion is planning to share an update on Need for Speed Unbound's post launch support in late January. A new update for free to play platform fighter Multiversus has added a spectator mode, and there are rumors that Walter White is coming to the game as a playable character
Fuck yeah.
in the next season, which is outrageous.
We have to play. I wanna see what his specials are.
Oh, 100%. Throws a baggie of blue shit.
Oh,
100%.
no. Yeah, no, he throws the thing down that explodes,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Okay.
or maybe you have ricin? Okay.
Yeah. Also, Darren Jacobs, the voice actor who played Hartman in Death Stranding, has stated that the character will not return in Death Stranding 2. PS5 sales have skyrocketed in Japan after Sony has finally improved supply in their native country. They sold 70,000 consoles during the week of December 12th alone. So they're liking it over there. VR puzzler Humanity has been delayed to 2023. Unusual point and click adventure game Smile for Me comes to PS4 and PS5 in the spring. God of War Ragnarok will get a new Game Plus mode sometime in the spring as well. More upcoming PS5 games received PlayStation Store wishlist pages: Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade, although Rise of the Ronin is only in certain countries outside of America for whatever reason
Hmm.
available at this time. Power Wash Simulator will make its way to PS4 and PS5 on January 30th, publisher Square Enix announced. Yes, Square Enix is the publisher of that for some reason.
Do you think a lot of people that play these simulators are just fucking baked?
I mean, I play a lot of them. I mean, look how many I've reviewed. And so I'm not
Yeah,
baked
but
when
you're
I
like
do it.
you
But
I feel like you do it mildly ironically, like it's a little
I
tongue in
mean,
cheek.
yeah, but no doubt, some people, yeah, like they smoke a blunt and they sit down and they power wash cars and decks, and then
Yeah,
100%.
see that police simulator makes sense to me why it's fun. Like, but to
Yeah,
virtually power wash, I don't get that.
yeah, fair. Well, I I have I guess I can't say, but what I will say is that I have requested another simulator for a review.
Yes, you have, and I'm excited.
Also, free-to-play title Deathverse Let It Die is being shut down on July the 18th. That was quick, less than a year
Mhm,
on the store.
mhm.
Developer
You're gonna let
Gung
it
Ho
die.
Online Entertainment. Yeah. Developer Gung Ho Online Entertainment will be redeveloping the game and re-releasing it at some point in the
Oh,
future. It's
never mind.
interesting. Yeah. It's going to die and then come back. There is a large sale on PlayStation Plus subscriptions right now. You can sign up for 40% off currently, or existing members can upgrade their tier for a 30% price cut. A report popped up this week that said the PlayStation 5 may suffer from overheating issues if used in the vertical orientation. The report is based off anecdotal evidence from a French electronics repair shop that says it is seeing PS5s with the liquid metal seeping and settling. I'm sorry, settling and then seeping out of the bottom of its casing. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, but even if you have it horizontal, it could still settle, and, I
Yeah,
mean
they're just saying if it does settle, it's more evenly distributed, so it'll keep it, cooler or whatever, I guess. But the problem is, I mean, this could be a problem, could be a design flaw, but the fucking thing was designed to be stood up vertically. Like that part is that much is obvious.
yeah,
Like you can do it both ways, but what I'm saying, it was made and it's marketed as standing up vertically. So like,
mhm.
I don't know. All right. Next nugget. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that a newly discovered patent from Sony suggests that they could be bringing cloud gaming streaming to services and devices. So they're going to do a fucking Xbox Game Cloud or whatever the fuck, too, I guess, or looking into it. Insider Tom Henderson has claimed that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be revealed in 2023. He's really going out on a limb
I was
with
gonna
that
say,
one.
yeah, I really hope so.
I mean, Jesus, guys. I like Tom a lot, and he's right, but I mean, whatever. I guess it was slow. PlayStation has an unannounced first person shooter releasing in 2024. Here
Mhm.
we
It's
go.
Bungie.
According to the online resume of a former PlayStation Visual Arts Services Group character
There's
artist
always these fucking
who worked on
people.
the game. Yeah, so he was working on art for the game.
It's gotta be Bungie, right? It has to be.
Could be. They did say that this says by 20, they did say they were going to put a new game out by 2025, so that could potentially line up. We'll see. Also, some PlayStation VR2 games will be getting both physical and digital releases, including Horizon Call of the Mountain and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. Can that be any longer? The Witcher 3's PS5 physical edition will be releasing sometime in late January. It's been leaked. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches: Sifu, Hunt Showdown, Warzone 2.0, Multiverses, Conan Exiles, DNF Duel, Overwatch 2, and Paper Cut Mansion. So if you've been waiting for some fixes or new content, check those out. Also, JRPG One Piece Odyssey will weigh in at 30 gigabytes on PS5 and 32 on PS4 when it launches on January 13th. Preload will be available on January 11th. Destiny 2's Guardian Games event is reportedly set to launch, or return, I should say, on April the 18th, alongside the game's 20th season of content. Incredible.
Wow.
There were further leaks surrounding Discord support coming to PS5 this week, although we already know that full functionality is arriving on PS5 on March the 8th, thanks to insider Tom Henderson. PlayStation boss man Jim Ryan has been named one of the world's 500 most influential media business leaders by Variety magazine.
Mhm.
Okay.
And like you said, one of the most 100 whiny business leaders.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to hold his own systems controller.
God.
Developer Munfish has said that upcoming first person shooter Atomic Heart has no multiplayer DLC in the works, as it instead will focus on broadening the game's open world areas. Netflix's Assassin's Creed series has lost its writer and showrunner, Jeb Stewart, who told Collider that he is no longer working on the project due to a quote unquote difference in vision. It's tough. Along those lines, there was once a film adaptation of The Last of Us in the works, according to Naughty Dog co president Neil Druckmann, who's been doing a media blitz this week. Actors Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones and Caitlin Dever from Justified and Last Man Standing were considered for the role of Ellie at the time. And by the time they got around to making the show, both of those ladies were too old to play the character. Wizards of the Coast, the company behind the legendary Dungeons and Dragons, has canceled at least 5 unannounced video game projects, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. Last Stand Media's Colin Moriarty claims that Guerrilla Games is, in fact, not developing the remaster of 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn and instead being handled by another team.
Probably Bloober team. They're handling the other one really well.
Oh, God. Please, please, God, no. I also am of the mind that this is more of a remaster, not a remake. But who knows? I mean, if it was just a remaster, maybe Gorilla would do it. I don't know. We'll see. Next nugget: Final Fantasy 16 will feature blood, gore, partial nudity, in the words "fuck" and "shit," according to the ESRB rating. Wow, that's a that's a real hootenanny.
You wrote "and the works fucking shit," and I was like, you must have just had a meltdown typing that, and you're like, "Fucking whatever."
Dude, I just rattle this shit off while I'm typing sometimes because I know my brain will autocorrect. I'm really trusting my brain.
Yeah, every day.
That fucking brain of mine. Also, Star Wars Jedi Survivor will include new combat and traversal mechanics, according to the game's director. Okay, still won't be any good. Armored Core 6 will not include a campaign co op, and the story will be a soft reboot of the franchise, according to developer From Software. Square Enix claims that Forspoken's HDR issues that are present in the game's demo will be fixed prior to the game's launch on January 24th. It's a really great sign of a great game. The Last of Us Part 1 Firefly Edition is coming to Europe on January 26th. Loadout drops have been added to Warzone 2.0 after Raven Software originally had no plans to include them after everyone bitched about it. Website Gamadzu reported that Square Enix officially revealed that Final Fantasy Pixel remasters will come to PS4 sometime this spring. 2D side-scrolling action game Grim Guardians Demon Purge will launch on PS4 and PS5 on February 23rd from developer NT Creates. JRPG The Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie is officially coming west for PS4 and PS5 on July 7th. One Piece Odyssey will get a demo. The previously aforementioned One Piece Odyssey will get a demo on PS4 and PS5 on January 10th. The remake of PS2 strategy game Grim Grimoire Once More will launch for PS4 and PS5 on April 4th in North America and April 7th in Europe. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin will get its last DLC called Different Future on January 27th. Ship management exploration adventure game Stealth launched on PS4 and PS5 on December the 21st.
That
I'll
feels
say
like
a little bit more about that.
Oh, you did play it. I was getting ready to say that sounds like
Oh yeah,
you've already played it.
you know me so well. I
Okay.
did play it. Yeah. Lemming style puzzle game 10 Hearts will launch on PS4 and PS5 on April 20th.
What is lemming style? Is that an animal?
That's a great question. No, that's another game called Lemmings. I don't know.
Is it Lemmy from Motorhead?
No.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Also, alchemy simulation game Potion Craft, which looks pretty neat, is coming to PS4 and PS5 sometime in the spring. Don't laugh.
The human from the Smurfs really likes that game.
Side-scrolling action platformer Gravity Circuit will launch for PS4 and PS5 sometime this year. Side-scrolling action platformer Ellipse is releasing on PS4 and PS5 this year. Arcade action sport shooter Hyper Gunsport launched on PS4 and PS5 on December the 28th. That looks kind of interesting. Hand-drawn 2D Metroidvania Afterimage will launch on PS4 and PS5 on April 25th. Publisher Koei Tecmo announced that Omega Force developed, those are the guys who do the Dynasty Warriors games, developed action RPG Fate/Samurai Remnant will launch worldwide this year for PS4 and PS5. Japanese publisher Spike Chunsoft says they have a quote-unquote large-scale title announcement happening very soon. Developer, here we go, Travis. Developer Starbreeze Studios revealed the logo for the upcoming Payday 3 over the holiday, and it is still scheduled to release this year. Let's do it. The PSVR got a new release over the holiday. Believe it or not, developer Amada KK's The Tale of Onigoro is now available on the last gen VR headset. First person tragicomic adventure Backfirewall _ will launch for PS4 and PS5 on January 30th. Side scrolling shooter Metal Black S Tribute will launch digitally for PS4 on February 2nd. And finally, Travis Gamatsu reported that ports of arcade puzzle games Puzzle Bobble 2X / Bust a Move 2 Arcade Edition and Puzzle Bobble 3 / Bust a Move 3 S Tribute will release digitally on PS4 on February 2nd. And that is all for the news this week. And I say that is all very tongue-in-cheek. That was quite a bit. And I'll turn it over to Travis now for all the new games that we got over the holidays. And I hate you for only having a couple of games to rattle off here. But go ahead, take it away by all means.
A real extensive list. On the 28th, we have Hyper Gunsport. which you said looked
Mm.
interesting earlier. And on the 5th, we have Alpha Dia Neo, and that is all.
Yeah, I forgot to include December 21st, Cell Forth. That was there too.
Okay,
So
yeah.
3 games. 3 games.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's it for the new games. We will begin to wrap the show up here, as we always do, by discussing what we have been playing. And I've been playing quite a bit, but I want to hear what Travis has been playing first.
We were in the basement the other night, and I was working on my, NASCAR collection, and my wife wanted to play Fall Guys, so I re-downloaded that, so played a little bit of that. Some of the new maps are actually pretty cool, the new boards.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more intricate, a lot more fun, and not that they're, like, harder, but they really know what they're doing now, so, like, the boards kinda reflect that. It was a good time, and then, these people had bought these Grinch costumes, so there's little Grinches running around everywhere, and, it's what it always is. It's a mess, but it's fun.
Yeah. That's funny.
Let's see, we played Battlefield and COD. Mixed reviews on both. The new Battlefield season with the new map's been a lot of fun. I like the map a lot. I forget what it's called now because I don't remember that stuff. It's not important, but the map's fun. I've now unlocked the Battlefield 2 sniper and then the P90 from Battlefield 3.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
you
think it
did.
was Battlefield 2. Wherever the sniper came from, I got him. Both of them are awesome. The sniper is once you figure out how to aim it, it's awesome. It's smooth. It recoils nice. P90 is what you'd expect. It's a P90. It's the P90 you remember. It operates exactly the same. The railgun, I unlocked that. It's a lot of fun. I really like the railgun. I like to put it on the burst mode, and there's something
Yeah,
about it. It's very satisfying. Really enjoyed that. We've been having a lot of fun there.
I
Can't
agree.
really complain. I mean, I didn't play for like 2 weeks at one point, because I was working nights and got back on Battlefield, and it's better than it was when I left it. So it seems like
Well,
anytime
good.
I take a sizable break, it's better when I come back to it. COD was fine, nothing to really report there, although I did tell you the other day I had one of the most amazing games. We played, Capture the Flag on Shipment, which was a
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
disaster, and I went 32 and 60, and, like, first thing, it didn't feel like I died 60 times, first of all. The team we were playing, neither of us could capture a point, so, like, for, like we literally timed out, I think, which is why I got to 60 deaths, but there was a while there where, like,
Yeah.
the score was, like, 50-20, and we've been playing for, like, 10 minutes, like, nothing had happened, but we couldn't hold any positions. That was, like, the first night back, so I was literally just going I had put on the double weapon XP, and I really wanted to level up this gun, and we drew that. So I was just, like, committed to the gun I had. I was like, "I'm not getting rid of the T-call, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping the
Yeah.
tack," or whatever it was, and, yeah, normally I would've switched to the shotgun or something, but anyway, it was fun. I had a great time with that. The last thing I did was the other night, I, played a little Gran Turismo. I decided to do one of the races. I had forgotten I periodically forget why I avoid certain races, and the Daytona track with the road course is just a fucking disaster, and the most interesting thing was the lobby I got in was a lobby I told you this because we were talking to each other on my new 3D audio
Mhm.
headset, and
That's
I
right.
said, "I'm in a lobby." There's 16 cars, I qualified 11th, and I was in a lobby with an A plus player, which doesn't happen for me. Like, I never get put in those lobbies. That dude was like a second off the world record, and I was like, "Why am I in this lobby with these dudes that are like legit?" It was weird. It was like it pulled my qualifying time and then was just like, "You need to be in this lobby," right? Anyway, it was a disaster. Like, I don't know if it's the way the damage model is or the way the penalty model is, but like there's certain things you don't do in a real racing situation because you have to pay for the car.
Yeah.
And, like, on iRacing, you'll damage the car, and so a lot of people are doing Gran Turismo like it's Forza, and you can't do that. Like, it doesn't work, and it's not Wreckfest. But,
Right.
it's just they don't understand things like, if you have position on a turn, they'll just turn down through you like you aren't there. Like, they don't use the radar or their mirrors. And then literally a guy messaged me and told me I was a degenerate, ramming piece of dog shit.
He
I
told you
was
that?
like, "Dude, I wasn't the one who hit you." Yeah, so yeah, and what had happened was, like, I had set him up, there's a chicane, I set him up, and I did a switcheroo, which is where, like, you kinda come in high and you switch back low, and I switched back low coming out of the chicane, and I had him going into the embankment around turn 3 and 4 in Daytona, and my car was faster than him because I was using a faster car than him, and I got a really good run on the switcheroo, and I'm blowing by him, and the whole way up the straightaway, he keeps you've seen Days of Thunder, he's just dooring me, like, he keeps turning into my door. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So, we go into turn 1, and he pushes me out of the way, like, just drives me off the track, I can't he literally pushed me off the track, so he did that, the other car behind me passes us, so, like, at that point, I was going to crash him, like, I was gonna send him into the shadow realm.
You decided that's happening.
There's a car in between us, I blow by the guy in between us, like, I gotta run on him, past him, no big deal. So we're going into, like, turn 4 or 5, and the guy behind me gets a run, and I could see in my mirror that he basically, the speed he was going and the place he was outside of the racing line, he wasn't gonna make the turn. So I braked early to cut the apex short to let him go by me. So when I do that, he hits the guy in front of me that adored me the whole way down the straightaway. So when he hits that guy, I just turn underneath them both and I pull out. Well, that guy was, like, sliding off the track, and anyway, so then he gets back on the track and pulls up beside me and pit maneuvers me.
Because he thought it was you.
Thought it was me, and then he sent me the message. I'm like, "Dude, it wasn't even me." Like, I didn't even do it.
Right.
That's why I'm so selective about, like, I don't even have the trophy yet for 50 online races because
Mm,
I don't do I'm very selective about the races I pick because of that,
right.
and because, like, my driver rating went down. It's a joke. I don't know. Anyway, I pretty much only do the nation races because they're ranked and you get people who take it seriously. So that's why I only have, 40 something races right now. But like, he's telling me I'm a degenerate piece of shit, but it's like, if you look at my ratio, I think right now, if you go look, I have like 26 top fives and 34 races. It's like,
That's pretty good.
I, I can't be a degenerate if I'm in the top five that much, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just that's the issue with it. A set of courses on sale, it's $13. I thought about getting that because it's a sim a lot of people do, but
Mm,
I don't know, I'm just kind of at, like, I'm not at a stopping point with Gran Turismo, but it's just I don't know what to do with it, like, you can't get a lobby where it isn't morons, so
yeah. Yeah. That would frustrate me as well. I've been playing a shit ton, as you can see. As you can see, I've been playing all kinds of shit. I've just some stuff I've been playing more than others. Some stuff I've just dabbled in. But I'll just run through the list here. Like you said, we played Modern Warfare 2 and Battlefield 2042. I can't remember if I was playing by myself or playing with you, but I've had some really good games on Modern Warfare 2 and Battlefield 2042 lately. Like I have
mm.
dicked on kids
You
pretty
went
hard here
24 and
lately.
2 one game.
I did. I went 24 and 2 one game on Modern Warfare 2. I have played Battlefield a couple of nights by myself, and I've just destroyed people. I adore Battlefield 2042. Like, I think personally, I could probably sit down and make a case that I think Battlefield 2042 is a more fun game than Modern Warfare 2. I won't do that because I know that'll bring out some keyboard warriors. But
No, I would agree with that, it's just different.
yeah, yeah,
It's like COD's like, I wanna play COD when I wanna do something quick, like,
yes,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly. I've also gotten sucked back into NBA 2K23. I've been playing that a lot. A lot. You've been on nights and shit, so I've been playing a lot of 2K23 while I haven't had any games to review, and it's been wonderful. I've been working on building out a Utah Jazz squad on the My Team mode, so I've got that pretty much fleshed out. Love playing with them. I've gotten a ton of cards. They did a an event recently where you could do these different challenges and get different cards, and so I got a shit ton of pink diamond cards now, and then I got a Galaxy Opal Bam out of bio, which is like the highest ranked.
Cats.
Yeah, which is like the highest rated card you can get. So basically, I've got all these really good cards.
Have you got, like, a Game Moments Lori marketing card? Because you had, like, 45 the other night.
They've put one out, but I don't know how to get it because there's too many
Okay.
menus in the fucking game. So I have no idea how to get it. But yeah, I would like to, but I have no idea how to get it. So while you've been out, I've been playing with Jacob some as well, our friend Jacob, and he's been trying. So for a while he was trying to get me to play Final Fantasy 14 online. I told him that was a step too far for me. We settled for Genshin Impact against my better judgment. We played some Genshin Impact. I understand. I understand. It's a good game. It's a fun game. But you can't really you can co-op, but there's some features missing there and some annoyances, some quality of life issues, I would say. And so, against my better judgment, played some Genshin Impact. I have since moved on from that, deleted that. I finally agreed to try Final Fantasy 14 online because there's a free demo. Played that some with him, and I understand that as well. That's it's not a bad game. It's just like too. It's a lot. I mean, it's an MMO. It's just a lot. So
Mhm. It's how I felt about Fallout.
yeah, this is 1,000 times more
Yeah,
than
I
Fallout.
imagine,
This
man.
is crazy.
You're just a huge fucking nerd. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, played some Final Fantasy 14 online, but that game's just a time sink. So, and I know now that I'm going to be reviewing games, we're back into that mode. So I just can't commit a whole bunch of time to Final Fantasy 14. But I was obliging. I oblige occasionally and try things out. Finished God of War Ragnarok. I don't know if I've talked about that before on the show. Can't remember. It's been a few weeks, but that's a great game. That's a game that the last 25% makes it takes it from like an 8.5 to a 9 for me. It was really good. And I enjoyed it a lot more when I quit doing the side quests and content and everything and just kind of did the main story and finished that out. I started to enjoy it a lot more when I did that. And that's not a knock on the quality of the side content at all. It's just the game is so fucking long. It's too long for what type of game it is. It's too long. I played it for probably almost 40 hours and basically did the single player and did some side quests before I finally abandoned it. It's too long for a single player. It's not even a fully open world game. So anyway, but great game. I really enjoyed it. Great story, great characters. I also dabbled back into some Fortnite because they have recently put out that Unreal Engine 5 update with the new bells and whistles for PS5. Wanted to see what that was about. It looks really good for what the game is, so it's cool features, and it makes me excited to see what those features will look like in different games, like more realistic style games and whatnot. So Fortnite's cool though. I'm not gonna lie. I played in the no build mode because I don't care about building buildings and hiding in them or whatever, and I enjoy myself. I'm not gonna lie. I got to the final two last night. I played a game, and then I got pwn hammered by somebody wearing a Incredible Hulk outfit. So it's just a fever dream of a game, really, at this point. But it's cool. I also have been playing or had been playing a free to play game called Sky Children of the Light. I think I've talked about that on the show. It's from the people who made Journey. It's a free to play MMO type of
fucking
game.
Steve Perry?
No. And that's great. And so it's really cool. It's something worth trying and experiencing at least one time. It's a really cool game, I think. I also re-downloaded and tried to go back to some Ghostwire Tokyo. I played that for quite a bit actually, and then I just realized that I've seen everything there is to see in the game. Like there's nothing else new coming in terms of like it's all the same at this point. I've unlocked all the abilities and whatever. Like I get it, and like I don't have time to sit and play through 15 more hours of the game. Like when I know it's just going to be that. It's not a bad game though. It's just I got kind of bored with it, I guess, but it's cool. It's cool. I like the character design is really cool in that game. The enemy design and stuff. So, what else here? A few more things. Sorry, I dabbled in some Riders Republic. It was on like a deep sell for like $15. Downloaded that, played that. That's a really fun game. Just dicking around and ramping your bike off of mountains and doing tricks and stuff. Really cool. Finally got around to playing a game that I bought a while back on sale called Proteus, which is like a pixel art style Doom first person shooter. And it's really cool. Played it for a little while. And then I tried that game I mentioned earlier, tried the Cell Forth game, which is like that open world ship management game. Actually put some footage up on YouTube, put the first hour up on that. And it's a really kind of charming game, interesting open world selling games. It's different, it's kind of got some Assassin's Creed Black Flag, like shoot your cannons and sink ships and stuff thing going on. So it's neat. But anyway, So I've been playing all of that. That's a shit ton, but it's been over the course of a few weeks. So it's a lot. And yeah, I've got some review games coming up as well that I've got to start diving into. So we're back at it. Anyway, that's it for me. That's it for Travis. That's it for the show. We're back. We're making podcasts again. So we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe on your podcast service or the YouTube so that you can get a new show delivered to you every Monday. Now that we're back. Also, if you leave us a rating or review on wherever you're listening, that would be very much appreciated. Stars, hearts, thumbs up, likes, comments, all that's great. We would also love to hear from you on social media. So if you could reach out to us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod, on Instagram, on Facebook, our blog, which is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. We'd love to chat some PlayStation with you. So find us there if you choose. We'll get out of here now. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week. Welcome to 2023. May God help us all. Talk at you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bing bong.